Bob Cusack, editor-in-chief of The Hill, joins us at our political desk. And Matt Schlapp, chairman of the American Conservative Union, joins us from the site of tonight's debate in Farmville, Virginia. Matt, these men are on opposite sides of the issue on many issues important to Catholics, like pro-life and defunding Planned Parenthood. This wasn't mentioned at all among the presidential candidates. Do you expect either man to make an appeal to Catholic voters tonight?
I do. I think Mike Pence will make a strong appeal, but Tim Kaine's also trying to make that appeal. You know, went to a Jesuit high school in Kansas City, and he tries to appeal to Catholics. But in our own congressional ratings at the American Conservative Union on these issues important to people of faith, Tim Kaine has a 0, and Mike Pence has a career rating of 99%. Lauren, you couldn't find two more people on polar opposites on these key issues.
That's true. Bob, one of your reporters says that Kaine will target Pence specifically on his push to defund Planned Parenthood and on his controversial support of religious freedom protection. Is that going to be a mistake for him to come out swinging?
It could be. I think it depends on how Kaine goes after Pence. Pence is a fiscal and he's a social conservative. He makes no apologies about it. And when I've talked to him over the years, he says, I'm a conservative and I'm not angry about it. So both these men are well-spoken. Both these men actually have presidential qualities that sometimes are lacking at the top of the ticket. But make no mistake about it. Pence is going to go after Hillary Clinton and Kaine is going to go after Donald Trump.
And that's what vice presidential debates are. That's why you have them. Now, Matt, as chair of Trump's Catholic Advisory Board, what does Pence need to say or do tonight to really win over Catholics?
I think the key for Mike Pence is to let them know that he understands the critical issue now from a public policy standpoint is your religious freedom, our protections under the First Amendment of the Constitution to practice our faith, and it's very much under attack. We saw with Obamacare, we saw with what happened with the Little Sisters of the Poor, with all these mandates like the contraception mandate that came out. And I think Mike Pence needs to explain to these voters that he understands, Lauren, some of these voters might not be Republican and they might not be all that conservative on a whole bunch of other issues, but questions of their faith and their ability to practice their faith are at the central part of their life and probably will make a big impact on who they decide to vote for. Mike Pence has to connect to those voters.
Okay, and I think that is one of the things that everyone's looking for tonight. Bob, you've covered many of these debates. We all have. We have seen the famous Lloyd Benson line to Dan Quayle saying, "You're no Jack Kennedy." I remember watching in journalism school as Admiral Stockdale took to the vice presidential stage saying, "Who am I? Why am I here?" And, the very first debate with the presidents raised everybody's blood pressure.
Yeah.
Is anybody going to have a detectable pulse by the time this is over?
Well, this is not going to have, I think, the vitriol maybe that the first one did. But at the same time, this is an important debate because if you think back to 4 years ago, Barack Obama was soundly defeated by Mitt Romney in the first presidential debate. And Joe Biden was able, I think, to outpoint Paul Ryan. And that kind of changed the momentum of the race. So that's where the pressure is on Pence. He's going to be talking, I think, about Hillary Clinton's emails. He's going to be talking about Obamacare, which has been struggling, and Bill Clinton was criticizing. So I think he's got to capitalize on the issues, and Kaine has to look and try to divide Trump from Pence. Like, wait a minute, you release your tax returns. Why hasn't Donald Trump? That kind of thing.
Right. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us. Matt Schlapp, chairman of the American Conservative Union, who is in Farmville, Virginia. Bob Cusack, editor-in-chief of The Hill. Always great to have you.